Okay, let's bring in John Bolton, former U.S. ambassador to the UN. Ambassador Bolton, really good to have you. So the breaking news, 2 U.S. hostages released today by Hamas. My question is, why only 2 when they had 12?
Well, this is, I think, a very cynical tactic by Hamas. I think it's clearly a delaying tactic. They can see the pressure that the administration and some Europeans are putting on the Israelis not to go into Gaza and go after Hamas, and this plays right into their playbook. So I don't know what effect it will have on Israel. Obviously, we're glad these 2 hostages have been released, but there are over 200 altogether. They've got a long way to go.
So I assume, and I'll let you comment if I'm wrong, that we agree that Iran is behind Hezbollah, Hamas, and the others. IDF today, quoting, "There's a serious escalation by Hezbollah." The reason why that matters is Hezbollah is coming from Lebanon in the north. Now Israel's looking at a possible 2 or 3 front war. Biden's speech didn't seem to deter any terrorism, did it?
Well, it didn't, and in large measure for exactly the reason that we're talking about. He didn't point the finger of responsibility at Iran. For Hamas to do what it did on October the 7th and thereafter without assurances from Iran, without direction from Iran that they would come to Hamas's rescue one way or another, Hamas in effect was committing suicide. And as extremist as they are, I don't think they have suicidal urges as an entity. So I think this was part of Iran's strategy. Clearly, we don't know what the full strategy is, but it may well include, if Israel goes into Gaza, once they're fully engaged, that Iran would unleash Hezbollah to the north and force Israel to fight a 2-front war.
Ambassador, I'm on record as saying I believe if this escalates the way you just point out, that the United States or Israel, with the support of the United States, should level the Iranian oil fields. Now, you won't kill a lot of people, but you'll certainly put them out of the oil business. Your thoughts on that?
Well, that's one good target. I think the Israelis have a lot of good targets. The Iranian nuclear program is another good target. I mean, people who won't face up to the reality here are really just postponing the day when we'll have to have a reckoning with Israel, the Arab states who also fear Iran. We'll have to have a reckoning with Iran when it's a nuclear power. Nobody wants to see this get more extensive or more violent, but honestly, Israel didn't start it. This is, I think, directed from Tehran. And if we really want peace and security in the Middle East, and I think that's our objective, somebody's got to deal with this regime in Tehran.
So I'll make another blanket statement. Correct me if I'm wrong. What we're seeing right now is a function of Biden's weakness, but it's also a function of what started in 2008 to 2016 when Barack Obama started funneling cash over to Iran. When Barack Obama said that let's make nice with you on nuclear enriching uranium for nuclear weaponry. We'll give you a timeline. Is this Obama 2.0?
Well, it may be worse in some respects, but there's undoubtedly a strand of thought in America, I think it dominates the Democratic Party, that you can negotiate the mullahs in Tehran into behaving in a civilized fashion and giving up their religious fanaticism. Really, Iran is a military dictatorship effectively now, and they control significant instruments of terrorism throughout the Middle East. We have always focused, and appropriately so, on the threat of the Iranian nuclear weapons program, and it's a threat in the Middle East, too. But the states there, not just Israel, but the Gulf Arab states as well, fear that support for terrorism. And the idea that somehow you're going to talk Iran out of it or talk Hezbollah or talk Hamas out of it is just naive in the extreme, and worse, as we see now with this tragedy in Israel, it's dangerous.
The statement I'm making, Hamas and Hezbollah are the symptoms. Iran is the disease. Would you agree? And if it is, why don't we just cut the disease out?
Well, as former Secretary of State Al Haig used to say, go to the source. And I have no doubt that Israel will defeat Hamas. Whether it will defeat it completely, we can't say. But the threat will remain in the form of Hezbollah or some other terrorist groupings that Iran would stand up after Hamas is eliminated. Again, if you look at the real problem in the region, it's certainly not Israel, it's not the Gulf Arab states, and ultimately it's the terrorist groups, but as supplied by the regime in Tehran. I'll give you one good example. Yesterday, there were reports and confirmed today that an American destroyer in the Red Sea shot down a significant number of land attack cruise missiles and drones coming from the Houthi rebels in Yemen, heading north on the Red Sea toward Israel yeah. or possibly toward the Gerald Ford carrier battle group. The Houthis wouldn't have those materials without getting them from Iran. That's an example of the real regional nature of the Iranian threat.
Ambassador, we got to go, but something you and I don't see eye to eye on a couple of things. But one thing we have in common, I don't even know if you know this, we both have had a fatwa put up on us by radical Islamic fundamentalists, and that is one thing, Ambassador Bolton and I do share. But I'm not losing sleep over it. I hope you're not either, Ambassador.
No, you and me, Eric.
We'll lock arms. John Bolton, thank you so much.
Thank you.